Sziasztok, Jadó vagyok. Közép-Európa első világra szóló podcast csatornáját hallgatjátok Magyarországról. Ez a Budapest.fm.
Hi, my name is Ray, and you're listening to the #1 podcast station in Central Europe, Budapest.fm, podcasting to the world from Hungary.
Welcome to the Rated PG podcast, hosted by Peter Grunberg.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Munchcast. This is the second part. The first installment was a little while ago, it has to be said. But we've been busy, and now my mellifluous co-part to the Munchcast and Annabelle are back. And we've got a range of things that we'd like to talk about. So we're going to share some recent experiences, what you've been doing, you personally. Maybe share some knowledge and some things that we think might be interesting to other people that listened to us last time, and hopefully new people can listen to us on this occasion. So, without further ado, would you like to introduce yourself? So, speaker number one, your name is?
Annabelle.
Annabelle what?
Annabelle Daisy Grunberg.
Got it. And speaker number two, what's your name?
I'm Anders Olaf Boy Grunberg.
Very good. And I am Peter Olaf James Grunberg. Three Grunbergs were assembled, and this is Munchcast Part 2, filming and recording in Budapest, and hopefully being listened to by people beyond Budapest. So, I've got a couple of topics, kids. I thought that last time we had a chat, it was quite meandering. It was fun. So, in an effort to be perhaps a bit more structured, and doffing a cap to our maestro over here, Ray, I thought we'd cover maybe sort of 6, 7 or 8 topical subjects. We don't have long, and we're going to get a nudge here from Ray when we speak too much about something. But I thought, let's kick off. It's December. We're in the Advent season. What comes up soon?
Mikuláš.
Aha!
Hungarian Santa's Mikuláš. So if you don't know about Mikuláš, on Saturday, Tuesday,
There's a slight variation there, but let's...
clean your shoes on Saturday, and on Monday evening...
Well, let's get the dates right. So it's the 5th, on the evening of the 5th of December, which I think is Monday. That's tomorrow. Today is the 4th. So what are you going to do tomorrow night, Annabelle, as a good sort of part Hungarian child with a view to...
I'm going to clean my shoes and wake up to see lots of chocolates in my shoes.
Is that the way it works? Anders, do you want to elaborate a little bit on what's this whole shoe cleaning thing and why the chocolates?
Well, on the 5th of December, you clean your shoes, and then on the morning of the 6th of December, it would be filled with a mandarin or two, and then lots of chocolates.
Okay.
The reason for that is a long time ago, a person called Saint Nicholas...
Or Mikuláš, that's the Hungarian,
Mikuláš,
right?
They call him Mikuláš in Hungarian. There was a special reason for why he helped people.
Okay, let's elaborate on that very quickly. So Mikuláš, he's, I guess, a saint. And what happens... So he was a good example of how you should be towards people. He was helping people. So therefore, if you are, I guess, if you're polishing your shoes, you're doing something kind of positive, save me doing it, and therefore there's a reward. So there's a reward for good behavior. Is that what you interpret?
But...
Go on. What's the but? There's always a but.
if you behave badly, you get a stick. You receive straw.
Straw or sticks?
Isn't it a stick? Thin sticks.
Maybe both, right. So little twigs.
So your parents can hit you on the bum.
Well, that's probably a little outdated, and I certainly do not plan to hit you on the bum with sticks. That's, I guess, from a previous time. Now, quick question and a quick answer. If you polish your shoes, do you think you've been good enough to warrant mandarins and sweeties and nuts and whatever else? Or do you think you'll get twigs in your shoes, Annabelle?
I think I'll get both because I haven't been so good or so bad.
That's a very honest answer. Okay, Anders?
Well, last year I got some sticks.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay. I was unaware of
at the
that.
same time as I got loads of sweets and lots of chocolates, so I'm probably gonna have the same, but there's a bigger chance of no sticks this year.
Good. Well, that's a very honest self-appraisal. Okay, so let's move on to Christmas. So that's the Mikuláš, and that segues into... So Christmas in the, shall we say, trying to avoid any sort of religious overtones, but Christmas as we know it is obviously a time when people come together, family, we celebrate. And what does Christmas mean for you? Annabelle, hand down.
Christmas means for me happiness and
Okay.
joy.
Good. Anders, what can be 2 words that sum up your feeling for Christmas?
Spending time with family, that's 3.
Good. And there's a project which I think is really cool. We would like to talk about. I heard about it from school, and it segues from the Mikuláš. And this is the Shoebox Project. Annabelle, do you want to tell us about the Shoebox Project at school? Because I think it's rather sweet.
So there's this man who's from Age of Hope.
Mm-hmm.
It's a company.
Yes, it's a company, thank you. And he asked, because people who don't have money to afford toys, he asked if we can prepare a shoebox with pencils and a little toy. And some people from our school, they packed one, and we saw them in assembly. And Carola's one was with lots of toys.
Okay, so basically you're packing toys with items, and these go to children who haven't, who are disadvantaged and don't really have ready access to the things that many other children do. Lovely project. Anders, what are you going to put in your shoebox?
Well, I'm probably going to make a joint one with Annabelle, but before you can give it to school, you have to cover it with some wrapping paper. And one really important thing is you have to make the top separate from the bottom, and then they can open it and close it without tearing it.
I see. Something reusable. Now that's a good thing. So reusable Christmas box with charitable contents. I think that's a really lovely initiative. Well, the making things and reusing stuff makes me think of something little project that we've been discussing, and that's the prank book. Annabelle, do you want to give us a quick, short explanation? What is the prank book for people who may be interested in that?
So the prank book, we write pranks, but this is a really funny prank we did on the Modines.
So let's give some
Christmas
context there.
time.
So we've
I
got some
think it's at
friends. So let me
Christmas
just interrupt you there. You've got some friends. Let's not use names in case we give things away. But there's a joke. So a prank actually is another word for a joke or a practical trick for people who are not familiar with that word. So do you want to tell us about one particular prank, just one, and tell us about the prank that you think should be in your prank book?
So we did this on the Modines, and we packed a box that was empty, and we said there's an air guitar in it, and they literally fell for it, and they said thank you to each of us, and opened the box when there was nothing in it.
So basically it was a real air guitar, a guitar made of air. Good prank. Anders, what's your favourite prank?
I have a good one. I did this on my mum. It's a prank with keys, so I do not try
I'm
this at
unaware of
home.
this one. Okay,
Do not
go
try
on.
this at home. Mm-hmm. So I
Good
filled
caveat.
a glass of water to the top, and I dropped keys in it. Then I put a cutting board at the top. I flipped it upside down, and then I put it next to the table so I could slip it off, so it would be upside down with the keys inside it, and she could only get the keys out if she lifted the cup up, but then the water would go all over her.
Wow, that's pretty cool, actually. I was unaware of that one. That definitely qualifies.
But she got really angry after that.
Yeah, I mean, I can. I'm not going to make any judgments, but I can see that could be a little frustrating. But that's a really good prank. Shall I tell you about the naughtiest prank I ever did?
Oh, I know it.
Do you think-
You shoved up
It's a little scatological, right?
Oh, and scatological means a lot about poo. And it's
Well, yes, that's true.
And humour.
Yes, so this prank, which I'm going to have to put caveat for those out there. about Annabelle's age. I was 8.
I'm 8, actually.
You're 8, and I was, well, let's say I was 8, give or take. And I had this genius idea with this friend of mine at school, primary school in England. And we were just thought, we'll just test someone's reaction, see how we can push things. So we got a stick and we picked up a dog poo and we put it into the lock of a car. So, those handlebars. And we thought we'd sort of really smear it in nicely so it couldn't be seen. It was a bit like those butter, like you have to get butter in a restaurant, and it's like perfectly scraped with them, you can't see the edge. We spent a lot of time perfecting this. And then we scampered away. And this poor chap, I must admit I feel a bit guilty about it, but it wasn't really mean, it was more exploratory. But this poor chap came along to open the car, and this was 40 years ago almost, put his finger in there, and he took his hand out. And we were watching from round the corner, and it was pretty disgusting. I don't think he was very happy, but it was a pretty awesome prank. Yes, I'm not sure I would do that again. So there we go.
Oh,
but anyway, your pranks are much nicer and they're less
I have
scatological.
another prank.
Well, let's move on from pranks. Let's park that. Can't give all the pranks away now.
Can I just give another prank?
No, because, do you know why?
Why?
You want people to buy your prank book. And if we're going to give away all the prank secrets now, then people won't be buying the books. We'll come back with a website soon. At this point, we have been inspired, and we're really grateful to a charming French friend of ours called Johan. Indeed. We visited him. He lived in Budapest. He's been here on many occasions.
And he taught me magic tricks.
That's
and
right.
my brother.
Yeah, hang on a second, Annabelle. And he is a very talented close-up magician. You guys are so lucky that he's given you time and given you the inspiration to learn some magic.
Yes.
So I thought, by way of gratitude to that learning opportunity, do you want to just demonstrate 2 really simple tricks? Go spontaneous. Let's think.
Annabelle, can I borrow your rubber band, please?
Yeah.
Johan is now based in the south of France, and we were very fortunate to meet him in the summer, caught up with him and his charming family. We stayed there, and one of the great quid pro quos, as well as the south of France environment and the sun and the lovely place that is in many ways, culturally,
Yes.
food, you name it. Give us one of your spontaneous numbers, Andy.
So, one is called the traveling rubber band.
The traveling rubber band.
It's going to travel from these 2 fingers, as you see, it's on my fingers, to my ring finger and my pinky. But all I'm going to do is open my hand. So, you see the rubber band from this side. I can close my hand and you still see it there. 3, 2, 1, boom. It goes to the other 2 fingers.
Bravo. Very good. I have no idea how you do it. Don't tell us, because clearly the route to all good magic and all magicians, as you have told me, that you don't give your secrets away. But I love that. Okay, so from magic, by the way, on that subject, since we're in Budapest, and actually we're in the centre of Budapest, in the sort of the old town.
That's right.
And there was a museum, or there is a museum that we visited not so long ago. It's the Houdini Museum. What can we say about Houdini for those that... I mean, it's a name that many people know as a magician, but what do we learn about Houdini?
Well, Houdini, he is a Hungarian, a magician and unbeatable, never understandable person.
Well, I think escapologist is probably the best. So he's a conjurer, escapologist, and showman, actually.
Yeah.
Can you remember what his name is? Because Harry Houdini was a name he adopted when he went to America. What was his original name?
His real name was Eric Weist or something.
Eric Weiss.
Weist.
Yeah, Weiss. And he was born in the 19th century, and he went to the US. And he was incredibly successful. So firstly, as we saw from the Houdini Museum, where they have lots of artifacts, some of his old cards and props. And he ended up being very well celebrated in America, became a very wealthy man.
If you don't know who he is, to give you an idea, what he did was he asked people to lock him in different locks, tie him in ropes, and all that stuff. And no matter what, a curtain would pull in front of him. 5 seconds later, it comes off, and then he's untied, and he's free. Each time someone tried to lock him, he could always escape.
That's
But
right.
one day, when he was doing a performance, someone did a special type of knot that he's not used to, and he was under the water.
No, I think he managed to escape from that, actually. I think where you're going with this was, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but he didn't die that way. He had some challenges. He always managed to get away from them. But one person who was trying to push and really challenge him and make him look not so, trying to make him look vulnerable, make him look incapable. He was a bit jealous, probably. And this fellow hit him in the stomach. Do you remember that? And Houdini could sort of say, you can do anything. He could take these hits. He was a strong man. And this fellow then punched him so hard that he actually then had internal bleeding. And then a few days later, he wasn't so old. He was in his, I think, 40s, maybe 50s. He certainly wasn't an old man. And unfortunately, he then died. We can fact check on when that was. And I'm sure our maestro over here will give us some correction on dates. But I think he was probably in his early mid-50s. I think. Annabelle, yes.
I just wanted to ask if they wanted us to send them the link to the Houdini.
Well, let's see. Well, again, we have to get clearance from Ray, our editor here, because we're not really, yes, I'm sure people can find it, but we want to focus on sharing information, and I guess we need to be careful who we promote, what we promote. Anyway, that's something to address, but that's a nice idea, and I think I'm sure they'd appreciate that. So let's move from magic. I have got, talking of magic, I thought magic on the football field. We are, of course, at the moment in the middle of World Cup season.
Yes.
Now, I have to say, I haven't actually watched an awful lot of the World Cup this year, but I know you have, and as Annabelle.
Yes.
So you saw England
Versus Iran.
Iran, then
What score? What's the score there?
it was 6-2. Then they played USA 0-0. And then today at 8 o'clock, which is the 4th or 5th today.
It's the 4th of December today.
At the 4th of December at 8 o'clock, they're going to play Senegal. And if they win, they're going to make it to the quarterfinal, I think.
Yeah, so this is the last 16. And what do you think? I mean, I'm going to put you there as a football pundit.
I'm predicting maybe 3-2 or something.
3-2.
To England.
Senegal are very good, and they could be quite dangerous. I think in terms of world rankings, I don't remember that, but England are sort of 5 or 6.
Yeah, they're 5th
5th in the world.
in the rankings.
But of course, England have this amazing habit of starting well and, maybe not completing the job, as we saw in the European finals. So you reckon 3-2. So it's going to be a close match. I think they need to treat Senegal very carefully because they could be fast, they could be dangerous.
Yeah.
They won the African Nations Cup, so they're clearly used to winning. Okay, so that's tonight. And who would you like to win the whole World Cup?
England.
You want England to win?
England.
Fair enough.
Or Sweden.
Well, Sweden aren't in it, I'm afraid.
They're knocked out.
I don't think they even qualified this year, no, unfortunately. So England are your preferred option. Now, if England get knocked out, so for example, say they lose to Senegal, who would you then like to win?
That's hard. Well, maybe Portugal.
Okay. You like Ronaldo, as I remember.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
But Ronaldo let his team down.
No, he didn't. Just he was being a bit rude to his team.
And he left the whole team.
Right. I
Well-
mean, yes, he's. I mean, clearly he's a very successful footballer, and he's had some issues with his teammates. I mean, it must be quite frustrating if you feel that. And this is for Manchester United, his regular team, right?
And now he moved to. Well, now we're talking about clubs, not countries. He
That's
used to be
right.
in Manchester United. It's a club, an English club. But now, because he's not playing on the field, because he said something rude to his team and his coach,
That's right. Yeah.
he's moving to some kind of South Arabian club.
Oh, is that so? I didn't know
Yes.
that. Oh, good knowledge. I know that he's trying to, there's a legal discussion even that, of course, he was a bit rude. Maybe he was right, we don't know, but certainly he probably expressed himself in maybe not the nicest way. Anyway, moving on to more positive things. And people talking about things and presenting things in interesting fashion. There's one person we discovered quite recently, it was Bertrand Russell. So from football to maths, that's quite a big jump. But anyway, tell me about Bertrand Russell, because I think he's quite an inspiring character. I know Anders and Annabelle were inspired by him. Anders, why don't you shoot?
In Cambridge, which is a very famous university, I have a jumper of it.
Oh, sorry, we breached the non-advertising rules there, but anyway,
Cambridge
okay.
University. Daddy used to go there, and there are different colleges inside, and he went to Corpus Christi College.
So yes, we went to Cambridge in the summer and it was
Yes.
beautiful. Bertrand Russell was one of the characters. And what was Bertrand Russell known for, Annabelle? Give us a quick answer.
Math.
Maths.
And there was this test
Yes.
that said, can you prove 1 + 1 is 2?
Very good. And here's a question to Anders. Can you prove 1 + 1 = 2?
No, you can't.
Simple answer. And
It's an axiom.
it is an axiom. That's a good word.
And Bertrand Russell, he tried to solve it because who would not want to have £1 million? That's the prize, £1 million.
Well, it is now. I think at the time it was just the mathematical challenge to try and resolve this quite seemingly really easy thing. Annabelle, you've got your hand up. We're not in school.
Yeah, but I don't
Pop
want
your hand
to
down.
talk.
Okay, so what would you like to say? Go on.
That Anders did this on his teacher, Mr. Wolverson, and he had, in that minute, he had 2 badges in his hand, and
the way he proved it was saying one badge and another badge, and I said,
how
Which
do you
is
know
actually-
if that equals 2?
Well, that's actually quite a practical way of looking at it because it shows you, I think that proves the point, is that we look at basically maths as an everyday thing.
yeah.
So the idea that you have 1 badge and 2 badges, I mean, yes, it's obvious, everyone knows that. But what Bertrand Russell was saying is trying to prove it. How do we
Yes.
know that 1 badge is actually represents the number 1?
And what he came up with, he wrote a 1,000-page script or book, and it was called in Latin Mathematicae Principii,
That's right, exactly. Yeah.
and he was trying to explain it in loads of different ways, like in letters, in decimals, and different ways. But the whole time he was just going in loops.
Exactly.
But then he came up with a phrase. A set of the containing parts is not part of the set. So think of on a ruler from 1 to 2. How much do you need to go from 1 to 2? And then inside 1 to 2, there are different slots of from 1 to 1.1. But then 1.1 is its own set into 1.2. It's its own set,
And you can keep going.
but it's
and
also
going.
a part.
Exactly. So I think, one, it's fascinating, this idea of the philosophy of maths. The fact is that it's got practical applications, and we can't prove the most simple piece. So from Bertrand Russell, we thought was inspiring, and I thought the idea of, there's another character who served to inspire. Who's that, Annabelle? What's his name?
Alan Turing.
And Anders, what did Alan Turing do? What was he famous for?
Alan Matheson Turing is his full name, and what he was
Right.
famous for is he cracked the enigma, which the Germans were using as a code to talk to each other in World War II.
Exactly. And how did he crack that code? I don't know where I'd start with that. Annabelle, how did he crack the code? Can you remember?
Well, he was a really good mathematician,
Correct.
and he tried lots of ways to crack the codes, and at the end, he cracked it.
Okay. Anders, why don't you elaborate on that? How did he crack it? What did he use?
He
What was
created a machine
That's right.
which we call the bomb,
Mm-hmm.
BOMBE.
Exactly.
And with that, he had little things to move around, so little
Or dials, weren't
dials,
they?
yeah. He moved it around, and then he thought, if those equal together, and how common would it be, then it could be a letter E, because letter E is the most common in the English alphabet.
So he was basically using, I guess you call them assumptions. So starting with the fact that in most European languages, he based his logic on that. And then, of course, a whole series of algorithms followed. Amazing. And he drew people from everywhere. There was actually a book I read, I think I told you about that, by Tessa Dunlop. She wrote something called The Bletchley Girls. So everyone thinks, well, we know, that the core were basically mathematicians and physicists and scientists and engineers and so on. But what Tessa Dunlop identified was actually a lot of people and women were then pulled in from all over the country. They could have been shop assistants or working in restaurants or pubs and so on. And they happened to be spotted for their talent with maths, for example, or counting. I thought it was really fascinating. And can you remember how many people there were at any one time in this whole hive of Bletchley, which is where the code breaking was taking place?
No, I can't remember.
I think it was 9,000. A lot of people.
And he saved 14 million lives.
Could be. We don't know for a fact, but that is the view, because the intervention, which therefore prevented people being, obviously more people being killed during the war. Obviously a lot of people were killed and it was a ghastly event. But there's this view that his intervention would have at least shortened the war, thankfully. Now, what do you think after the war, there's some developments and the internet eventually came through. So he was actually responsible, seen as the father of these things.
Yes.
Now, can you remember what product that we use a lot today, and in fact you'll see some in Ray's armory of technical equipment, what product or what brand is supposedly inspired by him?
Apple.
Exactly.
The computer.
That's right.
And talking about Apple, if think about the logo of Apple.
Mm-hmm. How's the logo look, Annabelle? Can you describe it?
So it's
so
an
everyone
apple
knows?
just bitten.
Exactly. So it's got a chunk bitten out of the apple.
And the reason for that is that Alan Turing died at the age of 41 by someone poisoned the apple.
Now that's a big question.
And
Go on.
Later on after the war, or before the war actually,
After the war.
After the war, he had the idea of creating the computer, but he didn't.
That's right.
He didn't manage to finish. So a person later on in the century, thought of creating recreating the computer from the idea of Alan Turing. And
So he inspired. I mean, it's very hard to say who
And
really
a few
created
years later, they found his body.
Well, yeah, I was going to come to that. Exactly right. So we don't know. It's hard to say who really invented the computer, because ultimately you go further back in history. So I don't think we can really form a view on that. But certainly he's seen to be a big inspiration for Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs started Apple. And as I understand it, I think we learned, is the bite out of the apple represents the moment when poor Alan Turing was found dead. We don't know why. There's obviously a conspiracy theory on that. So, was it on purpose? Who was responsible? Who knows?
I think it's a German who's spying.
Well, we don't know. It was after the war by that time. So I think we can't really speculate, and we don't know. But the fact of the matter is he did die, and he seemed to have been either poisoned or whether it was suicide, who knows. But the apple, well, we don't know. Let's not go there. But the apple, the sign of the apple is supposedly a kind of doff of the cap. We're wearing a cap now. A doff of the cap to him. So I think that's quite a neat symbol. Let's move on from Alan Turing. And given he was someone who was looking to the future, I was going to ask you two, what things would you like to do in the future? What inspiring things would you like to Go, see, do, and experience. Just give me one answer,
I'd like
Anders.
to go to Corpus Christi.
Okay, well, that's that. You've been there. It's a beautiful space. But where would you like to go? Give me a country. What country would you like to go to that you've never been to before, Annabelle? Just give me one.
Let me think.
Okay, well, I was thinking...
Spain.
Okay, Spain. Lovely. Wonderful. So many cultural things to do and wonderful cities to explore. Anders, give me just one place that you would like to visit.
I'd like to go to Egypt, and the reason for that is to see the pyramids and learn lots of knowledge about the pyramids.
Peru's amazing. I've never been. I'd love to do that. So maybe that's something we can think about next
The
year.
reason why I don't want to go to Egypt is that you can get lost in the pyramids.
Well, there is something called the Pharaoh's Curse. Apparently it's a real thing. I don't know. But lots of Egyptologists that went to Egypt, typically in the 19th and early 20th century, there's a big period of exploration. Many French and English explorers, archaeologists actually, a bit like Indiana Jones. And there is allegedly a series of rather unexplained happenings when people would come back changed or ill, or in some cases they might even die. And so there was this Pharaoh's curse. It's not really been explained. And this friend of ours who spent a lot of time in Egypt, he lived there, and he was saying actually, if you go to the pyramids or go to some of these sacred places, that you can feel a vibe. There's a certain energy. So I don't know. I would love to explore that. Shall we do that?
Yeah.
So that can be on the agenda.
I don't think so, because I don't feel so safe.
Well, we'll see. I'm sure if we're in good hands, you go there with a good intention, then maybe the pharaohs won't curse you. Now, what I was going to ask you was, do you want to describe where's the place that you have been to that you found the most inspiring place?
France,
France, Anders?
Sweden.
One place.
For me, well, we've already talked about Bletchley Park. We've talked about Cambridge. So I'm going to be talking about Pompidou, the Pompidou in Paris.
Lovely, yes. And what was inspiring about the Pompidou Centre?
A Pompidou, it's where loads of artwork is.
Indeed.
And one of my favorite artists, Pablo Picasso, and I saw lots of his paintings there.
Absolutely.
Real paintings.
Indeed. And it's a fabulous place. I've been there many times, and every time I go there, it's just joyful. So Pompidou Centre and Annabelle, France, just generally it's a country because you've got delicious food. What's inspiring about France? The Eurostar,
Yeah.
the train, okay. And of course Johann, back to magic.
Yes.
So France also is very known for cinema. Trying to think of what French films you may have seen. Of course, you will have seen animation. Aristocats.
That's French.
Well, it's not French, but it was set in France. Do you remember the cats in Paris?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So films, because we've talked quite a lot about films in the last few months. So we've talked about France and how inspiring it is and French cinema. And I know there's one little cartoon, a family favourite, is the Aristocats, based in Paris. So that segues neatly into the subject of film. And you two have been working in film. So for those that don't live in Budapest, actually probably don't realise how much film activity is going on. And I think it's, after London at least, it's the second most popular film venue in Europe in the broader sense. And you guys have been working on quite a few. So Annabelle, what are you working on now? Tell us a little bit about the roles.
So, I'm acting in Swedish Bloodbath.
Right.
And Fight or Flight.
Great.
And I think in Fight or Fight, I'm working with John Harp.
Okay. And I believe you have an on-screen mother in...
Yeah.
Is that Fight or Flight or is that in the Swedish... Stockholm
I have...
Bloodbath?
So, I have... From Swedish Bloodbath, I have a Swedish mother, Rebecca. I mean, her name's Emily. She isn't Swedish. And Rebecca is in Fight or Flight.
Right.
And Anders happens to be in the same movie with me.
So Anders, that's quite
And
funny.
I am rich and he's poor. And then he sees his parents die in front of him and he gets stabbed from behind.
Well, I certainly hope he doesn't get stabbed in real life. I believe I have signed some papers authorizing your death scene, but I certainly hope it doesn't. It's not for real, obviously. So, Anders, tell us a little bit about your role in those,
So,
or that film, or the films, plural, that you're currently working on.
I have something quite funny to say about film.
Go on.
When my mum was bringing papers to the school principal to show that I'm going to be skipping days of school, when he saw the name of the title, Stockholm Bloodbath, he said, okay.
I can well imagine, and he's right to sort of ask that question. Yeah. And he signed the papers, I guess.
Yes. And so I'm going to be in the same film as Annabelle, as she said. I have 4 or 5 days, and the director is Swedish. His name is Mikael, and
That's
I
right.
believe you, Daddy, you know him.
I do, actually. He's a charming man, and he's worked a great deal. He's made an awful lot of films. And his maternal grandmother was Hungarian, by the way. So it's a sort of a neat circle, a neat set of coincidences that there's a Swedish director with Hungarian heritage. He's now working in Budapest. And you two, like him, are a quarter Hungarian, and you have Swedish heritage. I guess that's why you were picked for the film with your...
Yes.
You could pass for Swedish children. What are you doing? Do you know much about the story?
No, but I know one really cool thing. I'm going to be seeing lots of stunt fighting. So stunt is when you like lots of backflips and all that stuff.
Cool. Now, you've actually been to stunt school a little bit, haven't you, with one of your film friends? That's... would you want to be a stuntman? Do you think that's more fun than being the actor? Or what do you prefer, stunts or acting?
I'd like stunt acting, so mixed together like Tom Cruise.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you're thinking.
Spitting Image.
We're not going to talk about Spitting Image and Tom Cruise and how he's portrayed in that. I'll let other people come to that themselves because we don't want Tom Cruise getting upset with what we're talking about. But yes, he is, I think, he does a lot of his own stunts, or certainly he's in the kind of films where you can show your stunt skills. So maybe that's something to aspire.
Top Gun.
Like Top Gun, for example. Have you seen Top Gun?
Yeah, both. Sorry, only one of them. The new one.
Right. Okay. Do you like it?
Yeah.
Annabelle, do you like Top Gun?
I didn't see it.
You haven't seen it? Okay. Well, it wasn't with me. I haven't seen it, actually, so you're ahead of me on that one. I have seen the original. I wonder if you'd enjoy it. It's very defining from sort of my generation. Top Gun was like, one of the defining films, like Ghostbusters and Indiana Jones and...
James Bond.
Oh, James Bond, absolutely, although James Bond spans a broader time.
And talking about movies, there's a new Puss in Boots coming up.
Really?
Yes.
I wasn't aware of that. Okay. Is that one of your recommendations, your tips for things to watch in the over the Christmas season?
Yeah.
Okay. So back to your film, your film stuff, just before we move on. Remind me of the names. So you've done a few. You also did this Netflix show about a famous chess player.
Yes, Garry Kasparov.
Right.
And there are 6 episodes. So if you do want to watch this, then there are 6 episodes. It's probably going to come out in 1 or 2 years.
No, I think it'll be sooner than that. It'll be half a year, maybe.
No more.
Really?
Yeah, because Mummy just shooted. Oh, and by the way, Mummy's also in the same film as me.
Right.
She's a reporter.
I see.
And Anders has a movie called Stranger Things.
No, I'm not in that.
Yes,
So-
when the zombie bites you.
Right. I think our viewers might get a little confused. So let's just go to the Kasparov. Finish up with on Kasparov. So you were basically playing young Kasparov. He's, well, I think 9 years old was the character that you were playing. And in that process, where does he... what are you trying to do? What are you showing with Kasparov in that particular? Because I think there's some
So
interesting
Garry
scenes.
Kasparov, some of you may know, was the best chess player for 15 years.
Absolutely, he was a chess master indeed, and But what I wanted to get to is, well, what were you showing? What was your particular... What was your key scene? There was a big scene, I think, that you were working on.
Actually, I have quite a few. So there are 6 episodes. I'm in 5 of them.
Right, good.
And they made me black and curly hair.
I saw that.
And
Did you like your hair like that?
I looked like a person in my class.
Right, oh, cool. And do you prefer your hair black and curly or blonde and straight? Or both?
Probably blonde and curly. Because I've been in a film where they made my hair curly, but they left it blonde.
Okay. So back to Kasparov, because I think he's such an interesting character. And you were having, as I recall, some interesting chess master. The Hungarian chess master was giving you some coaching on the moves and how to move the piece. So the continuity in the actual shoot would look like that you were able to move in a very sophisticated chess masterly way.
He's quite a famous chess master, Hungarian. Mm-hmm. Gergő.
He was very kind. I remember watching you do that. That was rather fun. And so there's a big scene that you were telling me about when Kasparov, I mean, he had a sad upbringing. I think he lost his father, isn't that right? His father died when he was young?
When he was 6.
Okay. And what was the piece then? So there was a scene that I know you worked on particularly. It's quite an important scene. And it involves his mission, his life mission, and he's being challenged. And do you want to maybe elaborate a little bit on that?
Yes. So they gave me clothes like it was in 1970 or something.
No, I think it probably was about that.
Around
maybe
1970.
60s, 70s, yeah.
And I was wearing clothes at that time. And I visited my father every second day, I think, because he was in hospital. He had dirty blood, so they took out dirty blood and put back in clean blood.
So that was a hospital scene. So actually, was
clean the blood?
Yeah, well, he was obviously not very well, and so therefore they're trying to. I guess that was the treatment that he received with a view to sort of refreshing his blood, but it wasn't successful, sadly. So his father unfortunately died when he was young. And then the mission, as I recall now, the scene that I think was particularly symbolic was when he was told or invited to go and play chess in America. And there was this big match that he was gearing up towards. So there was almost set his life mission was set then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you like to play chess, by the way?
I do like chess.
Do you think Garry Kasparov is an inspiring character?
Yes.
Annabelle, do you like to play chess?
Yeah. I'm not very good.
I think you're better than you let on, yes.
And talking about this chess film, in my audition, so when I didn't get chosen yet, I was doing some beatboxing.
Really?
Yes.
From chess to beatboxing, okay.
I had to explain what language I speak in my name and everything.
Right.
And then when I said, and I have to say it in English and Russian because he's a Russian chess player, because I speak Russian as well. Then I have to introduce myself in English and Russian, and then I was beatboxing and switching into Russian.
Why don't you do that? Because I think our producer and editor over here, he's a very musical fellow, as you know.
Yes.
And I think he might like a little bit of a breakout, just a little bit of beatboxing, because that might, you score some points with him. Go on.
Okay.
Wow. There you go. See, our
you.
producer's giving you a little creds for that one. That was a nice little breakout from chess to beatbox. Now we've talked about the films, and I think that's really exciting. So I really look forward to seeing them. I think the chess piece is called Rematch, right?
Yes.
That would be super interesting. And then, of course, the Stockholm Bloodbath that will come out, I guess, in 9 months or so, I would assume, so towards the end of next year. And then the Fight or Flight probably about the same kind of time. So I guess we've got our winter viewing set up for a bit. Now, so I would like to explore now some magic words. We've talked about spoken word, which you're learning your craft on the word front in the film work. And as beatbox shows how you can communicate, not entirely with words, of course. But there's the beauty of words, which I really like to share. I know you've picked up on that. And I think actually for people who are listening, a lot of people like words. They like the sound of words, what they mean, the tapestry, the texture. What are your favourite words? Annabelle, give me one of your favourite words right now.
Solipsistic.
Solipsistic is a beautiful word. What does that mean?
It means like selfish, or someone who only cares about himself, or like in class, someone goes like, look at me, look how good I draw.
Selfish.
And
exactly.
like that thing. And you say, stop being so solipsistic.
Good. Anders, give me a beautiful word that you'd like to share with people. Word that you like to use that makes you feel satisfied.
Well, you just said it. Beautiful. Give me a beautiful word.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a synonym to beautiful is pulchritudinous.
Very good.
And if you'd like to say beauty, you'd say pulchritrude. And
Indeed.
where it comes from is it comes from a Latin word, pulcher, which means beauty in Latin.
That's a lovely word. I think it fits with things like mellifluous. That's another word.
Honey-like.
Honey-like, yeah. Do you think you have a mellifluous voice?
No.
No, I think you've got many talents. Maybe you do. Annabelle, have you got a mellifluous voice?
Yes.
I think so.
That's very kind. But I tell you someone who does have a mellifluous voice. Yes.
Ray.
This guy. Yeah. He's
And
got
Virginia, the singer.
well, sure, but I think we're talking about Ray now, and Ray has mellifluous voice because he can sing pretty well, and that also comes with his piano skills and drum skills. I think we need a little doff of the cap to our multi-talented musical maestro over here, and he's obviously got chops, as the phrase goes. That's a phrase I learned from him actually, to have musical chops. That's a nice phrase.
Talent.
Sorry.
That's his talent.
Well, amongst many talents, exactly. But I think musical talent is... Now, we're having piano lessons. Actually, maybe now's the time to also share some credits for our charming Japanese piano teacher, Suhei. Can you tell me a Japanese word that we've learned? What word?
Arigato.
Arigato, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
So maybe now's the time to say arigato, everybody, for listening. Thank you for your appreciation, interest, and we hope somehow or other have served to create some thoughts and interest, certainly on the child front. And maybe we can receive some suggestions of films and new words and invite contribution that way. So maybe we can learn some new words, courtesy of people.
And maybe we can invite someone to come to our monkey production.
Our Munchcast, Monkey Munchcast. I'm sure we've got lots of M's. Mellifluous Monkey Munchcast, Part 3. Bring it on.
And
Thank you.
talking about good words, have a pulchritudinous day.
Oh, there we go. Right on. Good job.
And don't be, what is it called?
Solipsistic.
Solipsistic.
Exactly.